I would like to share a little bit more information with you about the briefing conversations that we've had with the Andrew Browsword Foundation. So we've had the privilege of meeting several of their trustees and visiting their office in Bath. And I think with the Family Foundation, it's really important to understand that culture piece and where the roles come from, because it is operating in a bit of a different environment. So you may have noticed that Andrew Browsword is the name behind Forever Friends, which is someone who grew up in the 90s, a massive deal. But the family, you know, that created a really fortunate and favourable outcome for the family. And from a very early stage, they decided they wanted to give back. They've had two foundations that they've currently got operating, and actually, you know, these acts of charity have been a bedrock for the family, and that continues now to this day. Over the years, you know, they have owned a huge amount of trading businesses, and again, that has led to further success. And actually, you know, this new operation, this new injection of funding into their charitable aims is a direct result of that. They want to share the success that they've had as a family. The family office is in Queen Square in Bath, and it's the hub for everything, for not just the foundation, but for all of their commercial and philanthropic operations. To date, the operations have been philanthropic operations, so the foundations have been run on a relatively part-time basis. They have two family member trustees, and two independent trustees. And actually they do feel like the culture that comes from all being together in the Queen Street office is a huge part of the success that they have, not just commercially, but also from their charitable arm as well. They really see the charitable foundation as part of the operations and not separate entities. They really want that integration of the two. So at the minute in the family office, there's about 7 to 8 people, and on the upper floor and sort of 12 on the middle floor. But across the UK, the family employs around about 700 to 800 people. What they now are looking for is that real move from small scale funding to making meaningful change and a measurable difference and impact in the world. So we're talking about transformational impact and change here. You know, Andrew himself has has broadly set some charitable objectives, but actually it will be the role and responsibility of the managing director to come in and see this into fruition, essentially put this into practice. So those objectives are broad intentionally. What they feel at the moment is that they have two organisations with no real voice and no profile, and actually that is, you know, those two aims. They see success in this foundation as the foundation having those two things, so voice and a national profile. And they feel that they've done good in the world, but they haven't necessarily made a real change. So the MD will come in, set those objectives, you know, come in and build a profile for the organisation and give them a voice on a national scale and make that change. You know, they want to see themselves as being more than just a sticking plaster. They want to be funding research directly. They want to be funding organisations and charities that are making real change in the world. One of the first opportunities that the new MD will have is to really build those kind of partnerships with third parties, like some of the fantastic universities that they have in Bath and Bristol, to get that up and off the floor. So lots and lots of opportunity to go at. I think from a profile perspective, there's many things at play here, but ultimately we need someone who can come in and understands how to build an organisation from the ground up in an entrepreneurial way, which is in line with the culture of the operations. You know, they need someone who in the first 12 months can, yes, you know, set those objectives and see that vision, but, you know, set them up as an organisation, engage with their third parties, setting up a grant giving programme and setting up policies. You know, it really is the beginning of this organisation. You know, alongside that operational strength, we do need that external influence. So it is a real balance there between someone who can come in, you know, and get things up and off the ground operationally and understands the process is in order to do that, but at the same time be able to be out there and creating that influence and profile. At the moment, you know, we don't have a massive structure there. The role and opportunity will be that the MD comes in and creates their own team and their own structure. But again, going back to that culture piece, you know, they are an organisation where they are live, like they are streamlined. They're not about, you know, they don't see success as building a big team. They see success as having a huge impact. You know, so the operation will generally be small, and that is where, you know, that creativity and entrepreneurial sort of nature will come into this role. You know, they mentioned there are several family offices in and around Bristol and Bath with, you know, huge numbers of people, and that's just not who they are as an organisation. You know, this is a really hands-on role, and you know, they do see themselves as a really sort of small but mighty team. Everyone is hands-on, everyone gets stuck in, and that works really right across the board within the organisation. And just finally, to speak a little bit around office space and flexibility, you know, they really are looking for someone full-time, and ideally they really are looking for someone to be in Queen Street. And genuinely that comes from this strong belief that they have, that the strength of the culture that they have fostered over, you know, the last 30 years has come from that real connection to each other. And as I say, that really important thing for them is that closeness, you know, of the foundation to their wider business operations. So I hope that's added a little bit, another layer of information into the information that you've already had. But yes, I will look forward to catching up with you.